You are 42 years old, and you wake up every morning with the same cold knot in your stomach. You look at your bank account, and the number is almost identical to what it was a decade ago. Despite your promotions, your raises, and your years of experience, you have done everything right, according to the traditional playbook. Yet you are still running on a treadmill that never stops moving. Why is it that men in their prime, men who have navigated decades of professional life, still find themselves staring at a balance that barely covers the next mortgage payment? You are not alone in this silence, but the truth behind your stagnation is far more surgical than you realize. Stick with me, because by the time this conversation ends, you will face the uncomfortable reality of why your money keeps vanishing into thin air and, more importantly, how you are going to reclaim your future starting today. Think about the last time you felt truly secure about your financial trajectory. Was it 5 years ago? Maybe never? You go to work, you grind through the week, and you pay the bills. Yet the cycle repeats with agonizing predictability. It feels like a leak in a boat that you cannot find, no matter how hard you look. You are tired, perhaps a bit jaded, and you have started to convince yourself that this is just the way middle-aged life is supposed to feel. You tell yourself it is the taxes, the inflation, the kids, or the rising cost of living. But those are just ambient noises masking a much sharper, more precise frequency of failure. Everyone around you seems to be playing the same game, struggling to keep their heads above the tide, which makes you feel like your situation is normal, even inevitable. But there is a difference between being normal and being intentional, and that distinction is the gap between your current frustration and your eventual freedom. The error is not that you are spending too much on coffee, or that you are not savvy enough at the stock market. The real culprit is the invisible trap, a psychological mechanism built into your daily routine that treats your hard-earned income as an infinite resource for your past and present self, while completely ignoring your future self. It is a subtle, silent habit of convenience. We label it as being responsible, but it is actually a form of financial procrastination that wears a suit and tie. You believe that your salary is a tool for building wealth, but in reality, your current spending behavior has transformed your salary into a mechanism for maintaining a persona, a version of yourself that needs to look, act, and live in a way that suggests success, even if it prevents you from ever actually achieving it. This is not about being broke. It is about being stuck in a performance act that you can no longer afford to star in. Most of the advice you have heard is dangerously wrong. You have been told to budget harder, to cut out the small luxuries, or to work more hours. It's like trying to fix a broken foundation by painting the walls. The popular narrative suggests that discipline is the answer, but discipline without a change in perspective is just a slow, painful way to fail. You are not failing because you lack willpower. You are failing because you are operating under a set of outdated instructions. If you keep following the same trail map that guided you in your 20s, you will never find your way through the thick forest of your 40s. The rules of the game have shifted, and if you have not updated your mental software, you are simply processing the same errors over and over again, expecting a different output. Before we dive deeper into the mechanics of this, consider this moment a pivot point. If you find that this resonates with your own quiet struggles, consider subscribing to the channel, as we explore these patterns in depth every week, helping men like you navigate the transition from surviving to actually building. Now, let us look at the first real revelation. The reason you cannot save is not because you do not have enough money. It is because you have not yet defined what that money is for. Without a specific tangible target for your savings, every dollar you earn becomes fair game for whoever makes the loudest demand on your time or your attention. You are treating your money like water in a sieve, hoping that some of it eventually turns into wealth. when you should be treating it like a specialized project with a clear, non-negotiable exit strategy. You are losing because you are playing defense against expenses instead of playing offense for your independence. Every day you delay, the cost of your hesitation compounds. It is not just about the numbers in your account. It is about the opportunity cost of the life you are not living. Every time you choose the path of least resistance because you are too exhausted from the work week to think about your finances, you are effectively selling a piece of your freedom for a momentary convenience. The tension you feel when a surprise bill arrives is the physical manifestation of a structural flaw in your private economy. You are living as if the present is the only thing that matters, but your future is already here, watching you deplete the resource that it desperately needs to survive. The longer you ignore the state of your financial health, the more expensive it becomes to rectify. This is not a drill, and it is not a temporary dip in your luck. This is the reality of your current trajectory. To fix this, you must adopt a granular architecture for your capital. Stop viewing your income as a single pool. Break it down into 3 distinct silos: the maintenance fund for your existence, the growth fund for your future, and the freedom fund for your peace of mind. Most men skip the growth and freedom portions because they are still trying to fill the maintenance fund with items that do not actually contribute to their long-term well-being. Start by automating the movement of a small, uncomfortable percentage of your income into an account you cannot touch. It should be enough to notice, but not enough to trigger a panic. By removing the decision-making process from the act of saving, you remove the emotional friction. You stop asking if you can afford to save and start treating savings as a primary bill that must be paid before anyone else gets a cent of your labor. There is a deeper level to this that most people never reach, and it is the secret of the truly stable. It's the realization that your identity is tied to your spending. When you feel the urge to buy something, ask yourself if that purchase is for you, or if it is for the version of you that you want the world to see. Many of the expenses that drag us down are social signals. You buy the car, the gadgets, or the status symbols because deep down, you fear that without them, your success is invisible. But true financial power is quiet. It is not displayed in the driveway or on your wrist. It is stored in the compounding interest that works for you silently, while everyone else is busy trying to look like they have already made it. When you detach your self-worth from your consumer habits, you free up an enormous amount of capital that was previously being wasted on maintaining your image. The climax of this realization is simple yet devastating. You are not behind because of the economy, your boss, or your past choices. You are behind because you have been using your money to buy comfort in the present rather than security in the future. The moment you accept that your current financial state is the direct result of your own behavioral choices, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the architect of your destiny. It is a painful realization. Yes, it hurts to admit that the person holding you back has been staring at you in the mirror every single morning. But that pain is the catalyst for change. It is the signal that you are finally ready to stop playing out life and start commanding your resources with the precision that your experience demands. You have spent years acquiring knowledge, refining your skills, and building your career, so do not let your financial maturity lag behind. The path forward is not about deprivation. It is about redirection. It is about taking the energy you currently spend worrying and shifting it toward the discipline of creating. You have the ability to change this. You have the experience to understand that nothing worth having comes without a cost, and that includes the price of your own long-term freedom. Look at your habits, strip away the social performance, and start building a foundation that actually reflects your worth. The numbers in your account will eventually reflect the change in your philosophy. It is never too late to start. provided you are willing to look at the truth without blinking. Take control of your patterns today, because your future self is waiting for you to make the right move. Leave a comment below about one specific habit you are going to change this week to reclaim your focus, and let us start holding each other accountable to a higher standard of living. You are at the age where you stop waiting for luck and start creating the outcomes you deserve. Be intentional, be surgical, and most importantly, be the one who finally breaks the cycle.